Hello. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to Wano, where we discuss everyday family issues, society, relationship, and culture. We are still on our relationship series. How do you find balance in your relationship? What is the art of compromise? How can you navigate conflicts with your partner? In this live broadcast, we explore these questions and provide practical tips for maintaining a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Okay, so if you want to join the program, if you want to call to join the program, the number is on the screen to call to join the program. It's plus 44 744 9823876 is a WhatsApp call to join the program. Okay. There's no obligation to give your name, just call if you have any contribution on what we're discussing tonight. Okay, you just do so. Or you can as well leave a comment on the comment sections. Once it's related to what we're discussing this evening, I'll read them out. Okay. Once again, welcome and good evening. Okay. We uh we are discussing how to find balance in your relationship with the art of compromise. The art of compromise is a crucial aspect of maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship. It involves finding a middle ground where both partners can feel satisfied and their needs are met. Finding finding the middle ground where both partners can feel satisfied and their needs are met. Okay? So when you're talking about compromise, it requires effective communication, empathy, and the willingness to understand and respect each other's perspective. If you've been following us on all this our relationship series, if you've been attentive or if you've been very close, if you've been listening to what we've been saying and what we've been highlighting on this platform, you will understand that we have been focusing mainly, we've been talking in every majority of our program, majority of our live programs. When we're talking about relationships, when we're talking about couples, we're talking about issues in the family, we always talk about effective communication. Effective communication is the foundation of any successful relationship, is the foundation of any successful compromise. It involves expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your needs clearly and respectfully, while also actively listening to your partner's perspective. Effective communication. When you're communicating effectively, you understand? You're expressing your thoughts, your feelings, and all that, all your needs. At the same time, you're listening to what? Your partner's point of view. That's when you're talking about compromise. You're bringing in compromise to it. You understand? So, when discussing sensitive topics or areas of disagreement, effective communication is vital. It's very, very vital. It's important. It's very, very important to use I statement. And I statement. When I'm talking about I statement, when you're talking, when you're communicating, when you want to communicate to your partner, because majority of relationships Many relationships, they finding it difficult. They find it difficult to communicate. They find it difficult to even have that communication. It's difficult. I'm talking about effective communication. So when you are communicating, trying to communicate to the other half, or you're trying to communicate to your partner, your girlfriend or your boyfriend, understand, it's important to use I statement instead of using you statement to avoid sounding accusatory, sounding like confrontational, sounding like threatening someone. You understand what I mean? For example, you said, I feel hurt when you did so, so, and so. I feel hurt. Rather than, "No, you always make me feel hurt. You always make me do this. You always make me do that. You always." And when you're using you always, you understand, it sounds accusatory. It sounds as if maybe you're accusing the other person. You understand what I mean? But when you're using that I, it brings as if maybe you remove that accusatory from there. You try now to communicate. You try to relate to the other person. Do you understand what I mean? So, and you see that you can create a more open and what non-threatening environment for discussion. We're talking about effective communication. Effective. We always highlight on effective communication. We always highlight on it because in any relationship where there is communication, when they communicate often, when they communicate effectively, you understand what I mean? It's it's easy. It makes that relationship so easy. It makes it effortlessly. They can relate. They can talk to each other. They can communicate to each other. You understand? And once there's communication in that relationship, you can see that there's something that we call active listening. Active listening, because one person is communicating, the other person is going to have to listen. You understand? It's equally important in effective communication. Active listening. It involves you giving your partner full attention, okay? Maintaining eye contact and showing genuine interest in what they have to say, which is which is very difficult. Which is very, very difficult in today's, I don't know, today's world. It's very difficult to listen attentively, just to listen, close your mouth, be quiet, and give this person what? Full attention. Just let them say what they want to say. And once they're doing that, you're just like doing what, giving them that full eye contact. You're maintaining eye contact and showing genuine interest in what they have to say, so that you can understand where they're coming from. You can understand what they want to, the message they want to pass across. They want can understand what they were saying. You understand? You know, but it's difficult because you find out that most times when you are communicating, when you're trying to pass a message to someone, and when you're trying to pass a message to your partner, and when you're trying to pass a message to your other half, they keep on interrupting. They keep on interrupting because it's difficult. It's difficult for some to concentrate and even to listen. They keep interrupting, and which is very difficult. If you can avoid interrupting or formulating responses in your mind while your partner is speaking, in your moment, you're trying to interrupt them, which is not right, because that you will not have that effective communication. You will not have the effective communication. The other person will not pass on the message they want to pass to you. You understand what I mean? But why can't you just focus and understand their point of view? Then you can validate their feelings. Point of compromise. There's no way you can compromise in a relationship. There's no way you can even find that balance in your relationship with that effective communication. There's no way where the other person will find a way to be an active listener, and the other one will do what? Communicate effectively. Because when two of you are communicating at the same time, that's when it becomes a conflict. No one is listening. Nobody, no one is listening among both of you. No one is listening. You understand? And which is very difficult. It's difficult. If it's something that you have to master, it's something that you have to in a relationship, you have to learn. You have that self-discipline. You know what I mean? To have an active listening. Be an active listener, to listen attentive, just to listen without interruption, to listen without interrupting the other person. You know, even formulating responses when the other person is talking, or doing some stuff, formulating something in your mind or something like that. Because when you're doing that, you are not concentrating, you are not going even, you are not listening. Do you understand what I mean? So when you're talking about effective communication, it needs an active listener. And you cannot, there's no way you can even like achieve compromise in your relationship or find that balance in your relationship without one being an active listener and the other one being an effective communicator. Do you understand what I mean? Vice versa. When the other one is talking, the other one has to keep quiet and listen. Do you understand? That is the issue many are having in their relationship. No one is listening. No one is, the other one is talking. Everyone is talking at the same time. You have to find that balance in your relationship. You find the balance, then you find the middle ground coming to compromise. You understand what I mean? That's when the compromise will come in. It is difficult. I'm saying that it's very difficult. In most relationships, it's very difficult. You understand? Some women, they find it difficult to keep quiet. They find it difficult to not interrupt when in communication. They find it very difficult. Some, you understand? And which is very difficult in a relationship. You understand? And then can say, they will just tell you that, yeah, maybe he doesn't say anything. He doesn't want to talk because you don't listen. You're supposed to pay attentively, just listen, give them listening ear without interrupting. Let this person give their own view. Let them say whatever they want to say. You understand? Let them communicate. You understand what I mean? They're communicating, then you will listen. When you finish, then you can talk. Do you understand what I mean? You can talk. And when you're talking, you don't use that statement, you, you always do this. You always make me feel. You always make me hot. When you, when you're doing that, that's when you accusatory, you're accusing the person. Instead, use I. I feel hot when. Okay. Those are the kind of things maybe you can like, use for you to come to that middle ground. You find the balance in your relationship. You understand? And to do that, you need empathy and understanding. You need empathy and understanding. When you're talking about compromise, talk about compromise. You're looking for a balance in your relationship. The art of compromise, you need empathy and understanding. Empathy and understanding, they play a vital role. They play a very vital role as it allows you to understand and appreciate your partner. It will allow you to understand and appreciate your partner's perspective, even if you didn't even agree with what they're saying. You didn't agree with what they're saying. You at least you give them that listening ear. You understand what I mean? You appreciate their view. You appreciate their perspective, where they're coming from. You understand? You give them the listening ear. Let them talk. You listen. Without empathy, there's no way you will understand. There's no way you will even know why they're what they're coming from, what they want to say. You understand what I mean? You put yourself in their own shoes. You put yourself in their own shoes and try to see the situation from their own point of view. That's what empathy does. When you have empathy, when you have empathy and understanding in a relationship, when the other partner, when your partner is trying to communicate to you, when your partner is angry, when they are like in a situation where they want to pass, maybe they want to like pass a message to you, they will, I don't know how to say communicate this. They just want to like, most times you see um something happened or you did something, or they want to like a situation where they're frustrated. To them, they are thinking maybe they've been telling you this for a long time. You don't listen. And they try now to like, voice it out to you. maybe their voices can go higher, and you're thinking maybe now, yeah, they're angry or something. They're trying to pass a message. You understand? And if you counter that, what happens? That's when it becomes a conflict. It looks as if maybe there's a disagreement on that. But with empathy, what happens? You listen. With empathy, you give them listening ear. With empathy, that's when you see that you understand where they're coming from, their angle, where they're coming from. Because now you're putting yourself in their own shoes, and then you are trying to see the situation from their point of view, what they want to say, which is quite difficult in many relationships. You understand? It's quite difficult. When you use empathy and when you get understanding in a relationship, it can help you to develop deeper understanding of their needs, desires, and concerns. Your partner's needs, their desires, their concerns in that relationship, because you got empathy. With empathy, you understand that because you listen. You will listen. You give them listening ear. You understand what I mean? That's when you're going to understand where they're coming from, their point of view, because you are putting yourself in their shoe. You're feeling what they're feeling at that time. So when they're giving you information, you will listen. You will understand it because you are in there. You understand what I mean? That is it. In many relationships, many are lacking empathy. Many are lacking understanding. Because if you get empathy in you, if you get understanding of that relationship, if you get understanding of your partner, if you understand where they're coming from, how if they're angry or they're trying to pass a message to you, they're trying to give information, because of that empathy and understanding, you get it. You understand where they're coming from. You didn't do this. I told you. Why did you forget? I've been telling you this for a long time. I've been telling you this for a long time, but you don't do it. Why? You're not doing it. You understand? Then you feeling from you're feeling put yourself in their situation. You understand where the frustration is coming from. That you know how to respond. That you know how to respond. It's either through your apology. You can apologize. I'm sorry, I forgot. Now you're calming things down. Then you do that, or then you can. That's what I mean. You find ways to communicate. I get what I'm saying. We're talking about the art of compromise. How do you find balance in your relationship? How do you find balance in your relationship? Okay. So building empathy requires active engagement in shared experiences. When you talk about empathy, how can you build empathy? How can you build understanding in that relationship? In what way what ways did they come in? In what ways can you say that empathy will help in that relationship? Okay. Many times you find out that due to work activities, maybe the man go out in the morning, come back late at night. You see that maybe he didn't have more time to spend more time with the kids, or didn't spend more time with the partner, or spend more time, the family or something like that. And he will not even understand that he's bringing a problem into that family, or maybe the partner needs more attention because he needs to get the money. He will not know that if she didn't say, if she didn't communicate, if she didn't talk to him with respect, he might not even understand that. You understand what I mean? So most times, sometimes, maybe when she's trying to communicate, to tell, say, okay, right, we need to spend more time together. You're spending a lot of time at work. You're spending a lot of time in your activities, what things you're doing. Okay. You don't have time to spend with the kids. You don't even have time to spend with us. You understand? But how did she pass the message? How did she communicate? That is another problem. You understand? And that's where you see that empathy and understanding will come in, because now you're putting yourself into her shoes. You understand where she's coming from. If you're in that situation where in the morning you leave home in the morning, very early in the morning, and then you come back at night, very around 9, 10 o'clock, the kids are already sleeping. She's already tired. She want to go to sleep. You don't have time to say to stay with the kids. You don't even know how the kids they are doing. You don't spend time with your partner because you're going early, coming back late because of work activities. You need the money. The family needs the money. You understand? So where would the compromise come in? Where will you do that? In what way can you pass the message to her and telling her let her understand that, listen, darling, we need this money. Okay? How can you pass the message to her? Let her understand that. How can you make her time so that you guys can spend quality time together? You can spend quality time together. You understand? So how can you do that? That's what understanding comes. What are the things that you know that maybe she's talking about? What are those things that she's saying that you need to do to bring the balance in that relationship? What ways can you do that? What about engaging activities that both of you enjoy? Activities that you both enjoy together. You find activities that, yes, maybe when you have that time, you guys enjoy it together. You're talking about activities that both of you enjoy. If it's watching movies together, or you find, I'm talking about you finding something that both of you will enjoy activities. If it's walking the street, holding hands just to walk around, have fresh air, enjoy the nature. Or some people prefer going to church. They just go to church together, go to service together, stay together there. After that, they'll go home. Something activities that you both can enjoy together. Just you and her. You understand? We're looking for the balance in that relationship. We're talking about compromise. How can you compromise? In what way can you find that balance in that relationship? You understand? But by doing that, when you find that activities that both of you can enjoy together, both of you can even enjoy something that can make you guys spend more time together. You understand? You can see that it will create opportunity for bonding. It will create opportunity for bonding. Talking about the art of compromise, how to find balance in your relationship. You know, I don't know where you're watching us from. The line is open. You can call me if you have any question. The line is free. Call one on now on +44 744 982 3876. Call now. The line is free. The line is open. You can call me, or you can put your question or comment on the comment section. All right. You call. We're talking about compromise, how to find balance in your relationship. You understand? If you know how to find balance, how to compromise in a relationship, you can call me and let me know. I would like to hear your thoughts. All right. We're still on empathy and understanding. When you talk about empathy, you can understand that you see that empathy helps you create an emotional connection between partners. It helps create emotional connection between partners. Empathy. And if you can, if you can see that many people, many times you see in relationships, some relationships, or even a workplace, they will say to you that you need empathy to work. There are some jobs that you need empathy in order for you to understand people that you're working with or understand your customers. You need that. That's the way it is in a relationship. You need empathy and understanding. When you truly understand and appreciate each other's feelings, it becomes easier to find compromise that can satisfy both parties. It becomes easier when you truly understand and appreciate each other's feelings. It becomes easier to satisfy both parties. It becomes so easy. You understand? When you truly understand. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to Wano.
Yeah, yeah. I'm calling in respect of the topic we are dealing on tonight.
Okay.
Yes, it's a very interesting one, and I really want to share my own opinion. Finding a balance in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There are some certain steps we ought to, or whoever that will need a balance in his or her own relationship must set
Mm-hmm.
in order to achieve whatever he wants. Right? So I think one of them is having an open communication,
Okay.
having an open communication,
Yeah.
having communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
having be able to speak up or open up with
Mm-hmm.
your partner, whatever thing you want to discuss. When you don't have that open communication, you always throw ones off balance in a relationship because you can't just express whatever situation that is before you to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another one, I'll say setting boundaries. Too many people in a relationship, they don't have this policy or set a boundary for their partners, respecting each other's, deciding or stating this is how this thing has to go
Mm.
and all that. Nobody, just give you my space.
Yeah, setting when they
I
say
think,
I understand when you talk about setting
that,
boundaries. Many
uh,
I don't know why many relationships they don't really have that policy. They don't have boundaries. They don't set boundaries. They don't have time for themselves because there are sometimes you really need to. You need yourself. You need your how will I say it? You need your own time to just spend time on yourself. You understand what I mean? You need the boundaries and all that. You know.
So I think if you could be able to set such boundaries, you
Mhm.
see that you always have a balanced relationship because you always know when your partner needs that space and you expect that opinion
Yeah.
in giving your partner the space.
Mhm.
And number three, I want to share again, sharing responsibility from the part of country
Mm.
or the part of the world I'm coming from.
Mm.
Majority of many people in relationship, they don't share responsibilities. They just go as it goes,
Mm.
They believe as it goes, yeah, we can fit in. No, it's not like that. Once you aim of
Mm.
getting a balanced relationship, you must you must share the responsibility very clear to your partner.
Mm.
If she buys by it or if he abides, that is when the relationship will have a test of it. But when you don't share it, or that is when complaints, you see a lot of complaints coming. Why this, that? But I think if you share the responsibility, especially financial responsibility, now we are in a relationship. These
Mm.
are how things have to flow. This is how we have to run things in this relationship.
Mm.
It's not all bills come to me. There are some bills you have to,
Mhm.
fit in. There is once there is a mutual agreement on that sharing of responsibilities and chores and things the way it should,
Mm.
you see that the relationship always has a good balance and a sweetness in it too.
Yeah.
And lastly, in
Mm.
my own contribution, talk about spending quality time.
Time. Yeah.
Yes, from the part of the world I'm calling from, we hardly have such and what it takes to keep a relationship. Or people who really understand the balance of relationship,
Mhm.
understand that quality time matters a lot. They always give it to the partner.
Mm.
So when you don't give your partner that kind of time,
Mm.
you can't just enjoy the relationship. It will always be lopsided.
And it makes their relationship boring sometimes. And you find out so many of them
Yeah.
they start losing interest in the relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
And they always make you not to develop your communication skill. When you have quality time, you always see the need to develop your communication skills
Mm.
to build yourself in words that can keep your partner happy and going every time you are with her. But when you don't give her time, you have that lapses.
Mhm.
You can't engage in communication for a very long time. Just one or two things, you lack words,
Yeah,
and it becomes boring.
become boring. Yeah. Thank,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
And it's all right. That was my only two contribution.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Especially you're picking on that effective communication. It's very,
Yeah.
it's very, very vital, especially to talk and one listens. You know, the other one gives a active listening and the other one is talking and communicating without interrupting each other. You understand what I mean? That is
Yeah.
very, very vital. It's very important. Thank you so much. I appreciate it for your call.
All right. I'm enjoying the program.
Thank you.
Keep it on.
Thanks. Cheers. Okay, the line is still line is vacant now. You can call if you want to. If you have something to come, something to contribute to the program. Okay. So we're still on the art of compromise, how to find balance in your relationship. Okay. Before we go further, I would like to acknowledge those that are celebrating their birthdays this week. All right. Before I forget, let me just give this time for them. All right. We have Jen Courage DK. We have Prince Ibama. We have Lisa Shelley Constantine. We have Net Cryer. We have Uchechi Onyenso. We have Yetunde Taiwo Williams and Neka Ajina. All right, guys. Wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jen Courage DK. Happy birthday, Prince Ibama. Happy birthday, Lisa Shelley Constantine. Happy birthday, Net Cryer. Happy birthday, Uchechi Onyenso. Happy birthday, Yetunde Taiwo Williams. And happy birthday, Neka Ajina. I wish you all whatever you wish yourself, and I pray that God should grant you your heart desire. We have a jingle for you here.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, guys. Make sure you enjoy your birthday. Celebrate it to the fullest and be careful how you celebrate. Okay? If someone, if no one is giving any gift or anything, just take yourself out. Go out there and enjoy your birthday. It's your birthday. Understand? Okay. Welcome back, guys. We are still on the art of compromise, how to find balance in your relationship. Understand? We were discussing about empathy, understanding. When you bring empathy, understanding your relationship, it gives you that balance. You understand? When you're practicing empathy, it is important to validate your partner's feelings, even if it doesn't share the same emotions and opinion. Like the gentleman that called earlier, he made mention about that. You understand? Because when you need empathy, it gives you that what feel is you understand the other person's feelings, because when you have empathy, you can put yourself into that person's shoes and understand where they're coming from. Their area, the area where they're coming from. You can understand their views. You understand? So with that, it gives you that feelings, even if you don't even share their emotions or their opinions, whatever they are saying, but because you have that empathy, you understand what I mean? You can validate whatever they're saying. You just want to, you understand it. You understand where they're coming from. You understand? So acknowledging that emotions by saying things like, I understand how you feel. I understand that you feel this way. I understand this. I understand. It sounds like you are really frustrated about this. You understand what I mean? With that, those kind of words, you can see that even if the person is angry, even if this person is like full, you want to boil up, you see that they will calm down a little bit. They'll calm down because they will think, they will understand that you're feeling their emotions. You are feeling how they're feeling. You're feeling you are feeling their frustration. You understand what I mean? So because you are validating You are validating their feelings. So this validation helps create an atmosphere of trust and respect. It's making it easier to find a common ground. Remember, we are looking for the balance in your relationship. We are looking for balance in the relationship. You understand what I mean? So when you bring that empathy inside there, when you start like talking to them, letting them know that you understand how they feel, you understand their frustration, and with the validation, it is just like create an atmosphere of trust between both of you. You see that mutual respect will come in because it makes it easier for them to, for you to get that common ground. You find a common ground where both of you will understand each other. That's the most important thing because there's empathy and understanding. It's there, which is very difficult in relationships. Understanding and empathy is very difficult to find in relationships. You understand what I mean? Because when you have empathy, there's no pride in empathy. If you have pride, you cannot keep with empathy. When you have empathy, it helps you in understanding. Get me? Okay. So when you're talking about that, finding the common ground, it makes it easier for you to find common ground. And finding common ground is the ultimate goal of compromise. Finding common ground is the ultimate goal. That is what you're looking for. And that is the that is the real thing, and that is the real deal. That is the reason why we're discussing this evening. We're talking about common ground, finding the balance. When you're talking about balance, to get any balance, it has to be in the middle. To get that balance, you have to be in the middle. You understand? So to get the balance, find that common goal, it involves identified shared interest. It involves identified shared interest. We're talking about interest. We talk about values, the goals that both partners can agree on. But when you got that common grounds, it's no more I. It's all gonna be us. What are interest? What is the goal of that union? What is the goal of that relationship? What interest? What is interest that both of you are interested in? You understand? The values that you bring, what are those things? Now you're finding the common ground. You want to find that balance in that relationship. You understand what I mean? So by focusing on these commonalities, couples can work together to find what solutions that satisfy both parties. They can find common ground. They find solutions that will satisfy both parties. If they want to do something, they want to agree on something, you see that the common ground, they find solution in that. If they have a project, if they have a plan, if even they have a goal for the family in the year, if there's no common ground, it will not work because there's no way they will agree on. There's no way they will agree on it. No one, because there will always be conflict. You will see the other one on the other side, the other one is the other side. But to find a common ground, that is the most important thing, how to find that balance. You know what I mean? And it is the issue. It needs communication, effective communication. It needs empathy and understanding. It needs listening. It needs, paying attention when the other person is talking, giving them that listening ear, putting yourself in their shoe just to know where they're coming from, to get their views, to get their frustration. That is it. To find the common ground. Because compromise often involves give and take. Always involves give and take. So it's essential to prioritize what truly matters to each of you and be willing to make concessions on less significant issues. Those little things that you know that it doesn't really matter. You understand what I mean? You just live it. You understand? Just compromise. You compromise. She really wants you to come back early. I was using that scenario earlier. You go out in the morning to go to work, you come back late at night, and the kids are already sleeping. She's tired, she wants to go to bed. She's waiting for you to pass your dinner. And you're doing this every time. You work because you need the money and all that. But she's been complaining about it. She's been telling you about it because you are not paying attention. You are not listening. You might not get it to you. You understand? You cannot. But now that you really understand that you need empathy and understanding, you're getting that listening ear, you understand where she's coming from. Now you're letting her know that, yes, I understand that you're feeling hot. I understand that you're feeling frustrated, that I'm coming back late all the time. It's due to work. Okay, but I would find time. I would try to find a way to see if I can come back earlier. Or even if I don't do that, on my spare day, the day I have off days, I make sure that I spend more time with you. The way you're communicating, you bring that compromise. That's where you're prioritizing what really matters to each of you. You're doing that through effective communication by communicating. It's not when you believe in, you thinking that some people, you see them, they'll start thinking that, yeah, she's supposed to know that I go out every morning, I come back late, I can't do that. It's work. What do you expect me to do? She's supposed to know that. He's supposed to know that. You assume that they know without communicating, without letting them know, without putting yourself in their shoe. You understand what I mean? That is the problem. You have to remember that compromise is not about sacrificing your happiness, but finding a balance that benefits the relationship as a whole. It's not about you all the time. It's not about you all the time. It's just not about your happiness all the time. You're making money, you spending more time out there. It's not only about you. It's all about finding that something, the balance that benefit that relationship as a whole. Because when she's complaining, when the other person is complaining all the time, when there is, with time, you find out that the frustration will start getting to you because it looks as if there's no more peace in that house. That'll be problem. The frustration will get to you one way or the other because you've not find the balance. You have not find that common ground. You've not find it at all, and which is very important in that relationship. The art of compromise, how to find balance in your relationship. And that is it. You need to find the common ground. Even in some cases, you can see that compromise may involve finding alternative solutions that address each partner's needs separately, rather than finding a single solution that satisfies both completely. When the same scenario we're talking about, you can see that is bringing problem because this job makes you that you don't have time for your kids. You don't see your kids. Before they wake up in the morning, you're already out. Before they go to sleep at night, you're not back. When you are back, they're already sleeping. You don't see your kids. So what happens? That's where you find alternative solutions. And what are those alternative solutions? It depends on what you want, how you want to, things that you have to do, how you going to find that solution so that it can benefit the party, benefit the family as a whole. What can you do? What options are there for you? Can you find another job? Is there any way you can look for another job, or is there any way you can talk to your managers? Is there any way you can talk to your boss or whoever? Tell them, is there any way? That's when you look for alternative. You sit down, you talk to your partner, and let them understand this is what is happening. Okay, I might even look for another job, or give me time. Let me try to sort this out. Effective communication. You are communicating to this person. You letting them understand that you understand their frustration. You get where they're coming from. You understand their pain, but you are doing something about it. When you are less busy, you can then take the kids out, spend more time with them, because you're trying now to do what? To make sure that you find balance. You find balance in that relationship. You find balance that will benefit the relationship as a whole, that will benefit the whole family. You understand? I'm saying that in some cases, if it can involve alternative decisions, alternative solutions. You find alternative, you find ways to compromise, you find ways to make sure that you don't lose your family, you don't lose your partner, you don't lose your wife, you don't lose your husband. And that's where compromise comes in. You have to then you compromise. Look for alternative ways to do things. Because at the end of the day, you can even get that money. You can work more harder. You're getting the money at the expense of your family. You got the money, but you're losing your family. It doesn't make sense, because you're out there looking for the money, but you're losing your family at the other side. But you need the balance. You need the balance. That's where you need to talk. You need to communicate. You need to talk to your partner. You need to communicate. Let them understand. Give them listening ear. Have that empathy in you when she's talking to you. Have that empathy in you when he is talking to you. When he's sitting you down, he's talking to you. Maybe the husband or the boyfriend has been telling this lady that the way you are behaving, the way you are doing things, I don't really like it. Don't like the way you're doing things, because it's frustrating. It's hurting me. It's looking as if maybe you are disrespecting me, and you're trying to pass that message, trying to relate to you. But because you're not giving that listening ear, because you don't have that empathy in you, there's no understanding in that relationship. You find out that it bring conflict, because she's not listening, and him is trying to pass the message. She's not listening. There's no common ground. There's no balance in that relationship. Do you understand what I mean? It's the same thing. It's vice versa. There's supposed to be understanding and empathy. There was supposed to be listening ear. Someone's supposed to listen while the other person is talking, so that they can absorb. If you don't do that, you cannot receive that communication. There's no way you will even understand what they're talking about. There's no way you will understand. So when you talk about the art of compromise, when we talk about art of compromise, it's an essential skill in maintaining a balanced and fulfilling relationship. Art of compromise is essential skill. When they're talking about skill, it's a skill. It's not something that is inborn. No, you have to learn. No matter what, you have to learn it. Every one of us have to learn how to communicate effectively, how to listen. You have to know, you have to learn it. You have to learn how to be calm. You have to learn how to give listening ear without interrupting the other person. It's a skill that you have to learn. It's something that you have to, it's a discipline that you have to acquire. It takes time to do that. You have to learn. You need to even acknowledge first that you're making those kind of mistakes, that you don't give the other person time to talk to you. You don't listen. With that, you can see that now you start learning how to listen without interrupting, how to listen, how to be quiet when someone is talking to you. Do you understand what I mean? We're talking about in a relationship, because you see that in most workplaces, when your boss is talking to you, you always keep quiet. You don't interrupt them, because they're your boss. You give them that respect. You don't, because you're afraid you don't want to lose your job. But once it comes to the house, it comes to your relationship, you're talking to your other half, you're speaking to your partner, you find out that many times they don't keep quiet. They don't listen. You see that someone is interrupting the other person all the time. There's no communication. They cannot listen because there's no respect in there. That is the reason why it's a skill. It's a skill to have that effective communication, to have empathy. You need that. You need to learn. You need to get that skill. So it's essential. The art of compromise call it essential skill in maintaining a balanced and fulfilling relationship. So you need that skill. You need to learn it. You need to learn it. When we talk about effective communication, it involves someone talking, the other person listening without interrupting. So when this person is talking, you learn how to be quiet and listen without interrupting. So when this other person is talking, this other person will have to be quiet and listen so that they can understand what the other person is saying. And that's where empathy will come in. And when that empathy comes, it brings understanding because now you're putting yourself in the other person's shoe so that you can understand where they're coming from, their angle, their perspective, their view, what they want to pass on to you, the information, so they can grab it. Because you're putting yourself in their shoes, you understand their frustration. You understand? That is it. With that, you find a common ground. You know how to approach it. You understand what I mean? That's what we're discussing this evening. So finding the common ground are key elements in achieving compromise. We're talking about effective communication, empathy, and finding common ground. They are the key elements in achieving what? The compromise. Remember we said art of compromise, how to find balance in your relationship. So with effective communication, empathy, you can see that you find the common ground. You understand? So by practicing these strategies, you need to practice it. It's a skill. Seriously, it's not something that you can boast of. It's a skill you have to learn. And most times you don't learn it in school. You need to work on it. You need to work on yourself on daily basis. You need to work on yourself all the time. When you're speaking with your partner, when you're speaking with your other half, you need to work on yourself. How to be quiet, how to listen, how to pay attention, how to communicate, words to use. Sometimes you need to use I instead of you. Instead of you always do this to me, you always, that means that you're looks as if you're accusing the other person. Or use I feel hurt when you do something like this, do something like that. It makes it a little bit easier for them to understand, to be in your level, to understand that, so that they can understand where you're coming from. So we're saying that practicing all these strategies, you see that some couples or you can create an atmosphere of understanding, respect, and collaboration. I kept it at the end for you to get the most important thing in relationship that many people don't really talk about. We're talking about understanding, respect, and collaboration. Do you understand? Understanding, respect, and collaboration. Those are the three major things that most times, if we find this in any relationship, you can see that that relationship is strong. That relationship, they have harmonious relationship. Many people will be thinking that, yeah, wow, it's so easy for them. Why is it so easy for them? It's just because they have understanding. They have respect for each other and they collaborate. They work as a team. They are partners. There's no I. They're partners. They collaborate in anything they are doing. You see that it makes it so easy for them in that relationship. And that is the reason, that's the problem many people are having in relationship. I'm telling you, many people are having a relationship. Many. There's no understanding. There's no respect. let alone collaboration, being in partnership. No way. Many people are having difficulty in that. There's big difficulty in that. Understand? So when you talk about this art of compromise, how to find balance in your relationship, if you go through all the stuff that we discussed this evening, even through even the one the caller that said, all of those stuff, you see that you can find a balance. That is the most important thing there, to find a balance in your relationship, the common ground in the middle. You understand? So you both of you can stand on that to make that relationship go forward, make that relationship easier for you, make that relationship stronger. Understand? And if you do that, you will enjoy it. Okay. Like I said, we are all learning. We are working towards it. Okay. So if you find these live brokers interesting, if you find it educative, just give us a thumbs up. Okay. Just like this program, share it to your friends. And if it's the first time you're coming across one, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Facebook and TikTok. We're also on Instagram as well. On that note, I will see you guys next week, Friday. Make sure that you enjoy yourself and have a wonderful evening. Thank you for visiting us this evening.